Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Get More Stuff Done Day. I am so excited to start this day off. We are going to have an awesome day full of all sorts of exciting information, interviews, really, you name it, we're going to have it today, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and we are going to get started here in just a minute. I want to just make sure that everyone can see and hear me okay. So if you want to just do me a favor, drop a comment somewhere down below. Let me know that you are with me and you are ready to get more stuff done. We will dive in and get started shortly. So basically what we're going to be doing today, again, we're going to have a full day of interviews, of lessons, some trainings, all sorts of stuff that's geared to help you get more stuff done. And this first conversation that we're having right here is the art of getting more stuff done, because it really is an art form. And once you've learned the way to properly get stuff done, get more stuff done, you're going to be able to apply it in all sorts of areas of your life, and you're going to see growth. You're going to see more success, more happiness, and that's the stuff that we want for you in your life. And when you apply the art of getting more stuff done, you're going to be able to do that. So we've got a bunch of people hopping on. You can hear me. Yes, you can hear me. You love the new setup. Thank you. I love it too. What's up? We've got you counted in. Shvam is ready to get more stuff done. I love it. So without further ado, let's hop right in and let's get some more stuff done. All right. So here's the main question is, what does it mean to get more stuff done and why? Getting more stuff done is really the difference between being busy and being productive, because a lot of people are busy, right? You've got a lot of stuff going on in the course of your day where you're always doing something. You're working, fine, but are you actually getting more stuff done, or are you just staying busy? It's kind of like, how do I want to describe it? If you are exercising and you're running in place, you're standing still, but you're exercising, versus you're outside and you're actually going for a walk, you're going somewhere. Both people are exerting the same energy, but one person's actually getting somewhere, the other person is stuck standing still. And that's the difference between being busy and being productive. What we want to do in getting more stuff done is learn how to be productive. And the reason why is because all of us have the same amount of time, right? It doesn't matter who you are, where you live, doesn't matter anything. We all have 24 hours in the course of a day. Doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter anything. We only get the same 24 hours to get more stuff done. And if you've ever looked at certain people and said, man, that person is so successful, or that person has accomplished so many things, how is it possible that they've done that? They've figured out the art of getting more stuff done. And that's what I want to share with you. And I want you to understand that properly and why it's so important. Because we only have that same 24 hours. And if you use most of that time being busy, it doesn't leave any time for you to live your life and for you to experience things and for you to actually get more out of your life. The fulfillment, the enjoyment, the satisfaction that comes with being successful. You want that, but in order to have that, you need to free up time in your schedule. You need to free up time in your life to be able to enjoy those things, which means instead of being busy, you need to be productive so you can get more stuff done in your business, in your life in general, to allow you to live the life that you want. That's going to be the major difference between being busy and being productive. It's getting more stuff done so you can live a more full life and not just waste so much time doing stuff, but not actually getting things done. So the first thing that we want to do, and I'm going to switch real quick to take some notes so you can see this list that I'm going to write down here. So the number one thing that you need to figure out is your schedule and the time of day that you are most productive. Because there are some people who like to get up really early when it's quiet, They want to get up even before the sun comes up, and they want to start their work day. That might work well for you. For some people, it might not. Some people don't like waking up early in the morning and working. They'd rather work late at night. Everyone else has gone to sleep. They can concentrate. They like to work at night. So in the comments, drop a quick comment. Let me know if you're a person who likes to work early in the morning or you like to work late at night. Personally, I like to work late at night. My mornings in general, I spend a lot of time working with other businesses and talking to people and getting things going. So for me, my time of day that I'm most productive is night. So I schedule things to happen during that time period because I know that's when I'm at my most productive and that's when I'm at my most creative and that's when I'm able to get more stuff done because I can actually achieve that without the interruptions that would occur during the morning. So for you, what you need to figure out is what that time looks like. If you are a morning person, you need to understand that and schedule the important things for the morning. If you are a night person, you need to schedule them for the night. Let's think about this a little bit more in depth. If you like to work late at night, right, and you are more productive late at night because you know there's no one around to bother you, you can just sit and concentrate by yourself with less distractions. Trying to do the same activity in the morning is going to take longer because you have the distractions. You're not really ready to work yet. So for you to try and do that thing in the morning is going to take you longer and it's going to waste time and you're going to be less efficient. You're going to be busy, not productive. So be aware of your own self and how you work more efficiently. That's the first step. Once you've figured that out, then you can go on to step number 2, which is plan ahead. That is where you start to lay out your schedule, right? You lay out your schedule from the time you wake up to the time you start going throughout the course of your day, and you've got it chunked out into blocks. And you can figure out where you're most productive. And if you know you're more productive at night, you start to plan the things that require your heavy focus down here, nighttime. And up here in the morning, you still have to get stuff done, right? You can't just do nothing, but you schedule the stuff that doesn't require a lot of thinking. So less thinking goes up here for you. You start in the morning by doing the things that are still important to do, but they don't require as much of your focus and energy because you want to save that for down here when you are more productive. Now, it's important to do this as well is to think that to know that you only have a certain amount of capacity in your brain to focus and do things efficiently, right? It's not unlimited. You need to schedule rest as well. So what you can't do is just think that you can work until 2:00 in the morning, because you want to work at night and save all this magic time for the night, but still also get up and try and be efficient here and not include a little bit of rest in the middle. Because you can't work 18 hours a day every day. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to be able to work efficiently if you stretch yourself out that far. So what you really want to do is you want to make sure you plan ahead time for everything in your life. So if this is going to be you, if you're going to be the type of person that you can work on your own tasks, you don't require other people to be around. Maybe you're doing graphic design, maybe you're doing website development, marketing, drop shipping, whatever it's going to be. If there are things that you can do on your own where you don't need other people and you are able to function more efficiently at night, that's fine. But you need to make sure that you are reserving some energy to actually be able to function at night. So that means in here in the middle, you need to be planning for some rest. That way you can get some stuff done in the morning. You're able to decompress right here, and then you're able to operate at night by getting more stuff done because you've rested up. You haven't burned through all your energy yet. You've saved some energy for the nighttime where you are more efficient, right? So you have to be very strategic about how you get more things done. And if you're able to do that, you're going to be way more efficient in getting more stuff done. So hopefully that makes sense. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I will be responding to them as we go and again later on. So do be sure to leave some comments. I love reading them as we go. All right. So planning ahead. Number 3, which is pretty tied to that, is boundaries. Boundaries means you are putting limits in place. So you're making sure that you've made your schedule a priority here. So this is a boundary right here. This is a boundary right here. And basically what this means is you're setting up a limit, a stop, a boundary for things not to carry through here, right? So you don't want things to come through and interrupt your rest, because what that's going to do is that's going to cause chaos, and your rest is going to spill over into your night work. And now your night work is less efficient because you didn't have this boundary up here to stop that from slipping through. Your boundary is what's going to prevent things from getting messy. Having set boundaries and understanding when to stop and when to start is going to be critical to your success. The other thing that you need boundaries with is other people in your schedule. And that's communication. That's your family members, your friends, understanding that this is your critical time to work, if that's what it is. If nighttime is your critical time, you need to be making sure that you've put boundaries in place to prevent things from interrupting this. You've built up walls around each side. That way this time is protected. So when someone calls you, texts you, gets on Facebook, they're going to try and do that because those people might not be super efficient at night. They might not be working. They're hanging out watching Netflix. But you're trying to be super productive and get more stuff done. But now you've put boundaries in place. So when these things happen, they get to this boundary and they stop. They're not getting through because you've put boundaries in place to protect your productive time. That's important. That allows you to actually be efficient during this time and get more stuff done. You can talk to these people here. You can train them. And I know that sounds weird, but you can train people. Hey, if you text me, I'm going to respond to you, but it's going to be here. If you just respond to everything that comes up, every text message, every time someone gets on Facebook, all that stuff is taking away from your productivity time. You need to be very protective over the time that you're most efficient. So the next thing, which is also related to that, is you want to be removing distractions. So boundaries, for the most part, is protecting other people from coming into your productivity time. Distractions is preventing things. And for a lot of people, that's their phone. Your phone is a tremendous source of distraction for a lot of people. Oftentimes that's notifications from apps, from games, from Facebook, from Instagram, from TikTok, from all sorts of things. Find ways to remove those to make sure that you are not getting distractions coming in and trying to get through your boundaries. You don't want to be sitting there trying to work and you've got notifications popping up on your phone that someone tagged you in a post or someone just posted a picture on Instagram. That stuff can wait. It's not that critical. So by being able to plan your day, which is planning ahead, set up boundaries and removing distractions, you're better able to focus on the time that you are more productive. That's going to help you stay efficient during this time. Now, the next thing that's going to be super helpful here is having a routine. And this goes along with that. So your routine, let me just erase this stuff real quick so we have some room to scribble. Your routine is going to be what you do every day. And it's nice because once you've established a routine, you're able to actually operate without thinking so much. It doesn't require as much effort because you have that routine in place. So you know exactly what to do at what time. And let me give you a little bit of information about my routine. So let's draw the rest of this back out again. So you've got your nighttime work, You've got your less thinking work, and you've got your rest in between. Now, these are not necessarily proportional in size. Your rest probably shouldn't be that large a part of your day, but either way. Having your routine means you're going to wake up in the morning. So let's say you wake up up here, then you shower, then you get dressed, then you start with maybe the most important thing, which is what I'd recommend doing first. That's critical to you before you start getting distracted. So you want to do something that's super important to you. Then you want to dive into actual work and responding to people. Check your emails, respond to stuff like that, stuff that's going to take away from your productivity time. Because once you start talking to other people, once you start to get into Slack and email and all those things, you're going to have other people in your head and their priorities are going to become yours. So that's going to start getting a little bit more distracting. That's probably going to eat up most of this time. Having a routine makes it easy for you to know what to do and when, and it also helps with these two items. It also helps with boundaries and removing distractions because your routine now helps to retrain the people around you with when you're going to be able to communicate with them. It makes it easy. If someone's looking for your attention, they know you have a routine. You are going to be able to reply to them during this time. So let's say this is 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So these 3 hours, you're going to be able to respond to your text messages. You're going to respond to your Facebook messages. You've got a routine. You know that you don't waste any time up here going on Facebook and checking who tagged you and what. It can wait. Focus on the things that are important to you up here. And then during this time, now you can go on here and check what's on Facebook because it doesn't really matter. Essentially, if you get sucked into Facebook and you go to look and see who tagged you on what, and next thing you know, it's been 25 minutes and you're now looking at something totally different, because let's be honest, that happens a lot. It doesn't matter so much because you've built a routine where it's okay, so long as you don't break this 4 p.m. boundary that you've set for yourself, to interrupt your actual productive time. So having that routine is going to help you do things step by step by step by step and understand what comes next and reinforce those boundaries. That helps you to get more stuff done because you don't have to think about what you're doing. You know, when you wake up, you go take a shower. When you're out of the shower, you go get dressed. When you go get dressed, you sit down at your desk, you start working. It's a routine. It's a habit. It's less thinking. It removes those decisions from the course of your day because the less things you need to think about and decide saves some of that time that we talked about in your head, that processing power to get more stuff done. You don't want to be wasting brain energy thinking about what I should do next. I don't want to have to think in the morning, all right, I woke up. What should I do first? It's a waste of a decision. It's much easier for you if you build a routine where you don't have to think. Structure your day, structure your life around a routine that will help build freedom. It helps build more time and save mental decision processing power for things that are more important. For a lot of people, you've probably seen people like Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs. You always see them wearing the same clothes. And you may wonder why. The reason is it's one less decision for them. It's become a routine. And for a large part, I've done the same exact thing. My closet, if you look in my closet, I've got about 8 pairs of the same shorts, 8 pairs of the same pants, and like 10 t-shirts. And the t-shirts are all different Legiit and J. Lewis shirts. So I just grab one of them. I don't have to think about which one, what matches. They're all the same. I don't have to think. I don't have to waste time picking out clothes. I'm not trying to be the most fashionable person in the world. I'm trying to get more stuff done and live a productive life. So for me, I know I get out of the shower, I go to the closet, and I go grab clothes. I don't have to think about what I grab. I just grab something, get dressed. It's one less decision I have to make. And I understand it might sound silly, right? Oh, I can afford to waste a couple minutes thinking about that. You really can. It's a waste of time. Not everyone has to be as extreme. But that's just one example of things that you can do in your routine to save decision making power and to save time for things that are more important, right? So that 2 minutes and that 2% of brain power that I've wasted by trying to think what clothes I want to wear, I don't have that much less brain power down here when it counts because I wasted it trying to figure out what should I do when I wake up? What clothes should I wear? That's why having a routine is going to be helpful for you to save that time and get more stuff done. Okay. Next thing, which I started talking about a little bit before, but let's dive into in a little bit more detail now. And that is hard things first. This one is super important. And I want to explain. Hard things first is important for a couple reasons. You have probably a long list of stuff that you need to get done. If you look at your list, you've probably got more things than you can get accomplished in one day. Okay, that's fine. Most of us do, right? We're pretty busy people. We've got a lot of things going on. Problem is, if you don't prioritize the important stuff, which can advance your life, might not get done today because you might spend time doing things that are less important. So you need to look at what is the number one most important thing that I can do today to move my life forward. Figure out what that is. Part of planning ahead. That's part of this right here. Planning ahead for what's the number one most important thing that you can do. Oftentimes they are more difficult, which is why we put them off because we don't like doing hard things because that's uncomfortable. Do those first. Once you do those, first of all, they'll be done, which is pretty much the most important part. But two, it'll make it that much easier for you to do the next thing because you've already gotten in your brain the fact that you've gotten a win for the day. You've done something that's going to help you. You've built up some momentum. So doing the hard things first will help you get further faster. And there's more reasons for that. So you don't want to let other stuff come in the way. And this is kind of what we talked about before. Everything that you do is going to require a certain amount of brain processing power. And there's a limit, right? Every day. When you sleep, it builds back up and you start every new day back to 100%. If you waste a lot of your mental energy on things that are less important, you now are working with a smaller capacity to focus on the important things. You want to dedicate as much of your brain power to the important things as possible. That's why they're important. When you put them off or you get busy doing other stuff first, it's that much less likely that you're going to be successful in completing that hard task. First of all, you don't leave enough time. Second of all, you don't have enough brain power to do it efficiently. So it becomes a problem and it doesn't get done. Now, the problem is that important thing, that hard thing that you were supposed to do today now gets pushed off to tomorrow. Tomorrow, you already had something else that was important planned. And you've got two important things planned. What happens? Probably not going to get them both done. So now one more thing and maybe half of the other thing, because now you've created panic. You've interrupted your routine. You've created delays. You've interrupted your schedule. Now it throws it off. And now is when you wind up skipping your rest because you think, oh, it's not that important to rest. I've got to get this important thing done. But that causes more chaos because now in this time, because you didn't rest, you're going to be less productive at night. And now you've screwed up your whole schedule. This is why people wind up getting burnt out. This is why people wind up working 7 days a week. This is why people start feeling stressed about life, is because they have not planned ahead. They have not put the hard things first, and they've interrupted their routines and their schedules, and they've made a mess out of things. So by doing the hard things first allows you to make sure that they get done. And the other stuff that's less difficult, less important for moving your business forward, I have other things that we're going to work on for that, but those things can come after, right? Because if a couple of those small tasks spill over to the next day, not a big deal. they're not as critical to your business, to your employees, to your team, to your family to focus on. So that allows you to really optimize your schedule, optimize your routine, and get more stuff done. Again, which is literally the game plan here. All right, so now the rest of the stuff. Here's what we got. Let me just get rid of all this real quick because I need some space to operate. And you'll have to let me know if you can read my notes because my handwriting isn't great. But I'm hoping that this helps. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a list of the things that are most important to us. We're essentially planning our day, and that this is again part of planning ahead. We're going to put a list of 10 things we need to do, and we're going to put them in order of what's most important. All right, so the important one is going to go up here. This is super important. I need to do something for my business to move forward. Less important things. Give me some examples, if you could, of things that are important or not important in your schedule. We'll add them in here. For me, there might be some things like checking email. We'll put that one down here. What else can we do? We've got some other things that we have to do in the course of our day. We're going to blog. What else are we going to do? We're going to post to Facebook. We're going to plan. We're going to have employee meetings. Those are more important. Focusing on your team and your business is generally more important than stuff like this. All these things are important to get done, but there needs to be a priority to them, right? It's more important for me to make sure I have meetings with my team and I plan out our success rather than blogging. It's important, but it's more important that I reinvest in our team and our communication to make sure that that stuff is getting done first. So you can fill in the blanks here, but we'll suffice it to say that there's less important stuff down here. Stuff that should still be done, but isn't really a priority for you and your skill set. What you want to do. There's two things we need to do here now. Number 7 and number 8. We're going to talk about them together, which is going to be automate and delegate. And if you can combine these two, that's when you get power. And that's what we want. So automating. What you're going to do is you're going to try and take any of these tasks that are on this list, any of these things, and if you can automate them from to get done, great. That saves a lot of time. It saves energy. It saves costs. It saves someone else's time. You're able to just get more stuff done by automating tasks that don't really require actual attention. So let's look at some examples of that. You can use something like Zapier. You can use IFTTT. You can use all sorts of tools to automate things to happen. Here's an example. Anytime you get a new client, you follow a process where you add them to your client portal and then you send them some information. You send them some onboarding documents, and then you get them to sign a couple forms, and then you get them started. You could do it manually, right? You could add them yourself. You could send them an email. You could welcome them. Fine. You could have someone else on your team do it. You can delegate it, but you can also automate that. Automating should be, whenever possible, your first step to getting more stuff done. Don't automate things that need to be personal. People don't like dealing with a computer when they can deal with a person in most cases. So you want to make sure to automate things that don't need to be personal. Just general tasks. Set up a mailing list. Go on Zapier and set up an integration that when someone does X, Y occurs. That's going to help you accomplish that task and you're going to spend a little bit more time to set up the automation the first time. But two things are going to happen. One is it's going to get done automatically without you having to think about it because it's automated. So it's going to happen instantly. It's going to happen every time, and it's going to happen without any of your involvement. Next thing, where you cannot automate, delegate. That's more stuff that's down here. This stuff is mostly delegating. This stuff is probably automate. So we'll put an A for automate, and this will be a D for delegate. You can delegate these tasks to people on your team, people on Legiit. You can delegate these tasks to make sure that anything that needs to get done, that needs a human touch, put a person in charge of it. Go hire someone on Legiit to write your Facebook or your blog posts. You don't need to be the one spending attention on it. As part of your plan ahead in the morning, have your meeting with that person. So have a meeting with the person who's going to be running your blogs and your Facebook posts. Tell them what you want them to write about, right? Spend 10 minutes of your time in a meeting to make sure that everyone's on the same page, the communication is laid out, and then they will be able to write your blog post and your Facebook post. And for that person, these items, number 6 and 7, may be up here, but that's fine. They can be important for them. That's great, because that's their priorities and their day to get more stuff done, because they're going to want to get that work done to create more income for themselves, and that's great. Your priority is focusing on the things that are important for you to do. So anything that you can delegate to someone else, a skill set that maybe someone is a little bit better at than you, or a skill set that does not require your personal involvement, delegate out to someone else. Again, you want to be saving time in your day for things that are important to you. Yes, being active on social media, replying to your email, blogging are all important in the scheme of your business, but they don't necessarily need you to be the one that does it. You need to be making sure that you are protective of your time and your mental energy, so you are saving it for the things that are most important for getting more stuff done. So automating and delegating are going to be really helpful to save time in the course of your day. And that's what this is all about. Getting more stuff done is not about being busy. It's about being productive. It's about accomplishing things, crossing them off your to-do list, taking on more, and growing. That's how you grow. That's how you grow a business. That's how you grow your life into be something that's more successful, is by figuring out ways to control time, to get more stuff done. And the biggest thing of all of this is discipline. That's our number 9. Because all this stuff is great in theory, right? If you do it tomorrow, if you start tomorrow and you say, I'm going to figure out my most efficient day, I'm going to figure out what time of day is more efficient for me to work. I'm going to plan ahead. I'm going to set boundaries. I'm going to remove distractions. I'm going to create a routine for myself. I'm going to do the hardest thing first. I'm going to automate some stuff. Great. Awesome. You might have a really productive day. But if you don't have the discipline to do it every day, it's going to stop. You need to be disciplined in creating that routine and sticking to that routine, and making sure that you are following it every day. Making sure that you enforce these boundaries. And those boundaries are going to be uncomfortable when you get started, because you're going to feel like you need to be on Facebook. You need to be responding to a text message the minute you get it. You need to be responding to an email the minute you get it. You do not. I promise you, you do not. Nothing is going to fall apart if you don't look at your email for 3 hours. And if it is, you have much bigger problems to solve in your business than that. You need to be structuring your life in a way that you can focus on the things that are most important to you, and you have that rest. You've got that time frame, the less important stuff, the rest, and the most important stuff. You've got that all figured out in these boxes. Because if the most important stuff starts creeping in here and here, it's a mess. And again, you're not going to get more stuff done. You're going to be all over the place. I promise you this, structure your life. If you are intentional and you are disciplined, you can set things up so that you do not need to be tied to all those distractions, because that's what your email is. That's what Facebook is. That's what TikTok is. It's a distraction. It's important, but it's a distraction. Your email, if you're really worried that when you're down here focusing on your most important stuff, that something's going to happen in your email and you're going to miss it if you're not keeping your inbox open on your screen. Here's a plan. Go back to number 7 and number 8. Automate it. Set it up so that if there's a certain keyword, you can go into your email and set it up so that there's a certain keyword in the subject, or it comes from a certain person, you get a notification. If it's really that critical, and chances are it's probably not, but if it's really that critical that you know about that email instantly the moment it happens, set up an automation that those emails come through to you, but the rest don't. Or set up a separate email inbox. Figure out ways to automate and remove distractions. Let's say, here's an example for me personally. We run a lot of websites. We do website hosting. If there's a problem on one of those servers, right, it's important for me to know about that when it happens. Let's say the server for Legiit goes offline. I need to know about that pretty quickly. 2 things. Here's how I fix that problem. First, I am not the only person who gets that email. That email goes to a bunch of people. So if that happens, it's not reliant on only me to see and solve that problem. That's number 1. Number 2, that alert goes to a totally different email than anything else. So when I am working here, I can shut off the distraction of the rest of my general email. The email for that alert, if that alert should come up, and we obviously knock on wood and hope it never does. If it does, that alert will get through, because that one is super critical and important. But again, you've now figured out ways to remove distractions, right? I'm not keeping an eye on all of my emails and getting distracted when someone sends me something that's not really important. I'm only seeing stuff that is really absolutely super critical. There's a way that we've removed distractions, automated things, and delegated that responsibility to other people. There are so many ways that you can do that in the course of your day. And if you focus on those and you're disciplined in looking at your routine, if you're disciplined in paying attention to what your day looked like, what you actually got done, you're going to be able to find opportunities in that day to remove distractions, to automate things, and to delegate things. And one of the most important and most beneficial things that I've found is at night, when I'm done with my day, my work is complete, I spend 5 minutes. And I sit down and I think about what happened today. I think about the things that I've accomplished, the things that I could have done better, and the things that I have to do tomorrow. The things that I've accomplished in the course of the day, celebrate those small wins. The things that I could have done better, I think about how I could have done them better. What systems could I have put in place? What processes could I have followed to make those better, to have prevented those problems from happening, to remove that distraction, right? So let's say today something comes up where I was planning on doing something really important, but something came up and interrupted me, was a distraction to my schedule, and affected the course of getting all this stuff done. Sometimes emergencies are going to happen. I get that. So it's never going to be 100% perfect. But I want to think about how I can intentionally structure my day tomorrow, or how I can intentionally create some sort of automation, or how I can create a task for someone else and delegate that responsibility to someone else, where it'll be higher up on their list, but not on mine, right? I want to keep things off the bottom of my list so I can only focus on what's really important, because what's really important is the stuff that's going to move me forward. So I spend time at the end of my day thinking about what happened today and how I can improve it for tomorrow. And that, again, is where discipline is going to be important, There's a lot of people when they're done with the day, they just want to throw on YouTube, they want to throw on Netflix, and they just want to Netflix and chill and go to bed. But if you're intentional with spending those 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking for. Just spend 5 minutes and think about what happened today and how I can improve it for tomorrow. With that 5 minutes that you spend, you're going to create an hour, 2 hours in your day. Might not be tomorrow, might not be next week, might be next month. But if you're intentional about spending that 5 minutes at the end of every day, thinking about what did I do today? How could I have improved what happened today? How can I have removed the distractions? How can I have done something better? You're going to be able to take that 5 minutes of intentional planning and discipline in the course of the end of your day and improve tomorrow by 2%. Do it again the next day. Improve the next day by 2%. Remove those distractions. And the next thing you know, in a month from now, you've been improving your day 1-2% every day. And you've saved 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes of distractions from interrupting you. And you've been able to get more stuff done because you've removed those distractions. So now add all that stuff up, and in the course of a month, you've saved an hour of distractions. Great. Now you're able to get more stuff done and live a more full life because you've taken an hour out of all this stuff down here, this mess. Look at this mess that's going on down here. It's a mess. Get rid of that. Automate it and delegate it. You want to put more energy and focus up here in the important stuff. And by getting rid of all this junk down here, you're able to create time. And I know it sounds crazy because I said we all get 24 hours. But how you use those 24 hours and what you do with them, how many you waste, how many you use efficiently, is going to be the difference between being busy and being productive. It's going to be the difference between working until you die or living a full life that you actually enjoy waking up to. You have to be disciplined. You have to be intentional. You have to follow these things. These are really important. This is the art of getting more stuff done. I know that this page kind of looks like a mess, so I hope that these notes have been helpful to you. But if you are intentional about this, and again, I know I'm kind of repeating myself on this, but it is really important, and this is the number one reason why I wanted to start our day here. By really understanding the art of getting more stuff done, by understanding how this works, you are going to be more productive, and it's going to be the foundation for adding all these other skill sets and being more productive. So I thank you for your time. Let me just hop in and answer a couple questions real quick. And then we're going to get ready for our next session. Again, we're going to have a full day of all sorts of awesome stuff. So I really look forward to this day. I've been looking forward to this day for a while. Getting more stuff done and living a full life is so exciting, and I can't wait to share that with you. So let me just real quick clear this hot mess that we have here. And let's get back to your questions. Let's see where I'm at here. Hold on real quick. Let's jump back to here, and let's see. Deganta says, please talk more about how to remove distractions in detail. I think the easiest way to remove distractions is going to be first to pay attention to them. If you can pay attention to where the distractions are coming from, and this is going to be that 5 minutes at the end of your day, to think about all the things that occurred that pulled your energy and your attention away from what was going on. I'm actually going to talk a little bit more in depth about distractions and how to fix those later on today. But for now, the answer to that, I would say, is pay attention. Spend that 5 minutes at the end of your day to think about what went wrong. Where did you lose focus? Where did you lose time today? Make a little list, write them down. I lost attention. I lost focus when I got a notification that someone sent me a friend request on Facebook. I went to Facebook and went to go see it, but then next thing I know, I was scrolling for 10 minutes, and then I came back and I forgot what I was doing. It happens. Honestly, it happens sometimes where you'll go to Facebook because you have to do something for your business. You wanted to schedule a post. You open up Facebook and you get distracted by the first thing you see on the page, and then you forgot why you went there in the first place. To be honest with you, it still happens to me sometimes. And so when I do find myself in that scenario, one of two things will happen. One is I will, instead of even opening Facebook, I will send a note to someone else on my team to go and do that thing. Because I know for me, there's a high probability that when I go on Facebook to go do that thing, I'm going to get distracted by something else. There's going to be a notification, there's going to be a question, there's going to be something else. And for me personally, I respond to a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people on Facebook, and there's questions that come up. So I am intentional with the time that I spend there because I don't want to open up Facebook, see that you've asked me a question, and not answer you because that would be rude. I want to give you the attention that you deserve. So I will plan time in my day for either rest or when I'm done with my less important tasks to go on Facebook and answer those questions intentionally. That's going to allow me the time to sit there and actually respond to you in a meaningful way, not just give you a quick response in the middle of me doing something else that's actually important. And not that answering a question is not important, but we want to make sure that you're structuring your day so that you're doing things that are going to move yourself forward. So hopefully that helps. Sean says, amazing. This surely going to help us a lot. That's awesome. Thank you for your information. It's really helpful tips. Thank you. Mr. Jim, if someone is doing both learning like courses and working, how do I plan both? All right. Here's what you're going to do. You're still going to be intentional about planning your day, and you have to think about this for you because it's going to be a little bit different for everyone. Courses, learning. First of all, the question is going to be: are you going to school? That's a set time every day, or is it something that you're doing yourself, like you're watching training videos, you're watching YouTube, you're learning something like that on your own schedule? If it's school and you're going to someplace at a certain time, you don't really have the option to plan what time you want to do it, right? They have their own schedule and you have to stick to that. So if that's the case, you need to put that in your schedule first because that's not something that you can move, right? That schedule is set. You have to work around that. So if that's the way it's going to be, if it's school, you need to put that in your schedule. And then with the rest of your time, you need to plan out how to use it efficiently so that you can add some time for rest, so you can reset yourself, so you can work efficiently. You need to add some time for the most important tasks when you can focus on them, and then plan that out. If it's YouTube videos, if it's training courses, if it's other stuff, same thing is going to apply. Think about how much time you have to block off every day. Is it going to be 1 hour, 2 hours? How much time do you dedicate to learning? And then be intentional with where you put that in your schedule. Think about how you learn best. Are you the type of person that needs to learn and focus on learning before you do anything else because you don't want to have other stuff in your brain going on while you're trying to concentrate on learning? Or do you prefer to just learn at nighttime when it's quiet, nothing else is going on, and you can just sit there and just learn with less distractions because it's easier? There are just naturally less distractions going on then. The number one thing I think that's most important there is being intentional with where you put those things on your schedule. As far as physically getting them all done, it's just a matter of prioritizing. Obviously, you can't automate and delegate learning because you need to be actively engaged in that. But what you really do need to focus on is the rest of the stuff. You need to focus on boundaries, distractions, and then prioritizing what's really important to you. So if you're at the stage of your life where learning is critical because you're just starting out a business, or you're trying to learn a new skill, or you're still in school, learning is going to be more important to you in the long run. So you want to make sure that that is one of your high level tasks. That's going to be an investment in your future. So even though it might not seem like it's actually moving you forward today, if you're intentional about learning a certain skill because you want to have that skill set for the future, you're planning ahead. You know that right now, this next 1, 2, 3 months, you're going to need to dedicate a lot of your time, and learning is going to be the number one most important thing for you. then make that the number one most important thing. Don't deny it. Don't try and have two most important things, because then neither one's going to get done. Make it so that learning is that number one most important thing for you. In 3 months from now, you can shift to other most important things. But if you're able to dedicate the mental energy and the attention and the discipline to making learning the number one most important thing, with 3 months of dedicated learning time, you'll come out of that with a great new skill set where you can then shift and use that skill set as your most important thing to build your business or your life. Sean says you nailed it. Thank you. Asan, sorry, I mispronounced that. We'll definitely follow this and try to become more productive. Thank you, but let me stop you right there. You're not going to try and be more productive. You're going to be more productive. That's something that I think we'll talk about a little bit later on today, but be intentional with the words that you use. You should not try to do anything. You should just do it. Because if you say you're going to try, what that means is you're allowing yourself to fail. And you don't want to give yourself that easy out. You want to do it. So do it. You're going to follow this and you are going to become more productive. If you say you're going to try to be more productive, in 2 days from now, when you get a Facebook notice that someone's posted on your timeline and you are less productive, it gives you the easy out to say, I tried, but it just didn't work out. Don't try, just do. Because I know that you can, right? There is nothing magical, special about being all. I am just someone who created a plan, who's consistently trying to work on and better myself 1% every day. And I'm not perfect by any means. I still have things that I need to improve, but I am improving them 1%. I'm just very intentional about putting in that 1% better effort today and tomorrow and the day after that. That's all it takes. You just need to be intentional about improving your life. And you're here. You're watching this video. You're learning how to get more stuff done. So you're doing that. Just stick with it and be intentional about it, because you can do it and I know that you can. So I don't think that we have any other questions. Give me 1 second just to grab a drink. And then I'm just going to wrap this up because we have our next video coming up shortly in a second. So if you do have any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up right now and we're going to get ready for our next session, which is going to be with Chris. So it's going to be actually pretty awesome. Chris has a awesome interview coming up. So do be sure to stay here and you'll be seeing that video in just a couple minutes. So again, thank you. The recording of this will be here, so you'll be able to go back, and any questions you do have, be sure to drop them in the chat somewhere, and I'll go through and make sure that everything is answered. I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to this fun day of getting more stuff done. So with that said, let's go get more stuff done.